Welcome to Cartomancy Mesquite. I'm Angela. Today we're doing playing card reading instructions, but what I would like is to get some questions. What questions do you have about reading playing cards? Because so far all I've been doing is kind of teaching and preaching a little, and I'd like to know what your ideas are. What you think, if you have any questions about how to do it. But I thought I'd start today with what pretty much everybody else is reading on, which is what's going on with Trump. He's got an unpleasant surprise coming. He's jealous of a fair married man. He's jealous of another man. Some man is getting under his skin. He's going to be drinking and doing drugs. Oh, what a surprise. He's going to lie. Wow, that's another surprise. He's going to be borrowing money. He has enemies. There's a bit of gossip and a lot of questions surrounding him. There's someone who thinks a lot of him, and he's jealous of that person. That's kind of an odd juxtaposition. And it revolves around a fair girl. And a dark married man. Somebody's getting something he wants. But for those two people, they've got a pleasant surprise. They're people that he hasn't seen in years. Those other people are going to get their wish. Not Donald. And then there's a fair married man. He's got good advice. Trump isn't going to listen to it. Let's see how time is going to work on this. Oops. Let's do that again. Okay, we got 3. Yeah, he's dying to borrow money. He has to have money. This is absolutely a requirement for money. He needs to borrow it and borrow it fast, and as much as he can get his hands on. He's going to lie, and he's going to be jealous. He's going to lie to this fair girl, and he's going to be jealous. I would say that's Ivanka, but she's married, so it would be reversed for Ivanka. But there's a fair woman that he's going to lie to, and he's jealous of. That's for 30 days out. I don't think this is going to be a full year reading because things are moving way too fast. Then someone who thinks a lot of him is going to get their wish regarding him. He hasn't seen this person in years. And it doesn't look like he's going to see him anytime soon. And this is where he's worried about a man in uniform. See the two kings? The two kings aren't just your average cop. It's not going to be a traffic stop. Those are court. That's going to court. He's got a big old question mark. What's going to happen? Those two kings could be like the FBI, CIA, NSA. They're not going to be the cop on the beat. And then finally, we have him drinking. He's an enemy to someone. And he has a pleasant surprise coming. Is that pleasant? Yeah, that's a pleasant surprise coming when he's drinking. He's an enemy to someone, and that's going to bring him a pleasant surprise. So I'm not sure what that would be, but for him, a pleasant surprise can't be much these days because all he's getting is bad ones. So he's going to have a rough time. Then I think I'll ask a yes or no question. Pull up my question card. Yes, I had a camera meltdown, and so I had to get a new camera. And I'm figuring out how to do this. It's not going easy. Okay, what did I want to ask? Has he still got a bug up his butt about Taylor Swift? Has he still got a bug up his butt about Taylor Swift? Has he still got a bug up his butt about Taylor Swift? I found that so amusing. The Taylor Swift controversy with him. Okay, it's in his home. He's going to have a party. He usually does. And someone's going out of town. I would say he's partying because Melania has exited stage left. Let's see, let's put this one here so I can get the others in. Yeah, he's still got a bug up his butt about that. We got to encourage her to pick at him some more. He's got an unpleasant surprise coming because someone else is getting their wish. It's about signing papers for a fair married man. And this is all going to happen around water. So I would say the fair married man is probably Eric. Eric's going to get his wish. Trump's going to have to sign papers. It's an unpleasant surprise to Trump, and it's going to happen around water. So I would say probably at Bedminster. They're going to have a little bit of a discussion on the paperwork. But yeah, Taylor Swift is still a thorn in his side. I'm happy to hear that. That kind of tickles me. It's so stupid. It's funny. Hi, Sherry. Yes, Sherry, I came on late. I had an MRI and an X-ray this morning that turned into 4 MRIs and 4 X-rays. So I didn't get back in time to do it at 1. Do you have any questions? I mean, I've showed you all a whole lot, but I'm wondering if there's anything specific that y'all want to know. I'm really interested to see what you think and what kind of holes you see in my teaching process, as I've never taught this before. I've just always read for people, so this is my first time teaching it. Yeah, Sherry, I got a little, I guess I should say a little something. For 50 years, I've been taking in people that were kind of on death's door, and every one of them left in seriously better shape than they came in. They went on to lead better and happier lives. But it's now come to the point where it's time to do it for me. So I'm going to build Angela back up. That's my plan. It's going to take me a couple of years. I've got a lot of stuff to fix, but it can be fixed. Hi, Diana. Yeah, you're right, Diana. It is time for me. Self-care is going to be my theme for the next couple of years. It is going to take a couple of years. I have 3 surgeries that I know already I have to get. And from the x-rays and MRIs this morning, I'll probably have 2 more. Not big ones, but they'll make a big difference in the quality of life. And that's what I'm looking for. My family, we all live to 95 or better. We get all kinds of aggravations, when it comes to illnesses. Nothing ever kills us. It just makes us miserable. And I don't plan on spending my next 30 years miserable. Okay, let me put the up where I can see you, Sherry. Yeah, I'm dealing with some financial issues right now. I'm hoping I don't have to file bankruptcy. Well, I've seen people do really well with bankruptcy. Because the first thing they do when you file bankruptcy and when you get that settled and you settle your bankruptcy, everybody and his brother is willing to give you credit because you can't file bankruptcy for another 7 years and they know they'll get paid. You don't have a way around it at that point. So think of it that way. It's not a real bad thing. Now, if you do it every other year like Trump, yeah, that's a real bad thing. Okay. Let me see. Are you sure you're not a Pontiatowski? Sounds like my family. I can't be 100% sure, Diana, because I'm a big old mix here. Sorry about that. Yes, I had to do it once before, about 15 years ago. That's not bad, Sherry. But when you become a person like Trump, where you file it every 7 years, well, he did it more than every 7 years because he did it for a business. A business, you can do it over and over and over and over again. Personal bankruptcy is a different story because you have the 7 years. But business, you can do it every other day. And that's what Trump essentially does. He just sucks the money out of the business, files bankruptcy, and says he doesn't know where it went. But the one thing, a word of advice I would give you is to pay off your oldest debt. Your oldest debt is going to give you your history. You want to hang on to your debt history. Yeah, Diana, he does do it for shits and giggles. Yep. When my mom had an aneurysm, I suddenly was paying her bills and mine. I just couldn't keep it up back then. Yeah, we all have problems like that. I just got a $300 bill this morning that I don't know who's going to pay it. The MRIs came out to be a whole lot more than I was planning on. Yep, we're all pulling for you, Sherry. We all are. So do you have any questions about how I read my cards? So one thing I haven't asked yet, does anybody have any questions about how I read my cards? Because you've been watching for a while now, and I'm hoping you've been playing around with it a little bit. Oops, sorry, I missed the one. Yes, I signed up with a consolidation company that works to negotiate settlement price. You don't really have to pay anybody to do that sort of thing. You can do it yourself. But if you found somebody good that's, doing you getting some service done, I would go with them, if you found somebody good. I've been naughty and not watching enough. No, that's not the naughtiness you've been doing, Diana. The Diana is your naughtiness is doing way too much. You calm down and slow down. You have company coming. They can help. I have been. I think my issue is just getting used to the difference. Yet it takes some getting used to. It does. Sherry, it stinks when you work hard and then this crap happens. Stirring in blue light with green factors for you. Oh, nice. Great, Diana. Yeah, overbooking yourself can be a problem. You need to slow down a little. You got to remember to take time for yourself. Says the woman who put off surgeries for a year and a half. Well, I didn't put them off. I was fighting with the insurance company. But the thing is, it took me a year and a half to get everything started. Yep. Yes, thank you, Diana. You're always a big help. We have no off switch. This is true. But Diana, you know what low gear is. You can shift down into that. I know I've shifted down into low gear. That's because I can't get up to second. Thank you, Diana. Yeah, I was talking to you earlier about moderation of your effort, because that's what hurts, is when you don't moderate your effort. When I will work until I can just start feeling it coming on, and then I sit down. You don't wait till you feel bad. Do Hurley Flyers do that? Yeah, they do. They got a first gear. You can find it. I'm sure you've never seen it on your Harley, but yeah, it's there. Yep. Don't forget, company is there, but they're all people who care about you. So you can get them to help with things. And they'll be happy to do it. I just found out that there is a spiritual shop not far from me, and she said to bring her some business cards and she would spread the word. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I'm going to tell you something. When I was a real estate broker, I bought, like every 60 days, I'd buy a box of 500 business cards, and I littered the world with them. Everywhere I went to lunch, I'd leave a few on the table, leave a few on the counter, drop a few when I was walking through the store. And I had more business than I could handle. And that's how you do it. It's name recognition. When people know your name and they got your number, that'll get you working. Coming out of the Pentagon for Memorial Day, ride the wall. Yeah, I have to stay in first and second to get out of there. Yeah, you do. No kidding. You aren't getting out of second on that ride. Not till you're nearly out of it. And yeah, that is awesome, Sherry. Yeah, you need to start doing it too. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get Tabs to make me some cards. She knows how to really run that Canva. She set up a back room for readers to use if they need a place to do readings at $5 an hour to rent the room. Hey, that's good. That's not bad at all. 1,200 bikes all coming out of one small 90-degree turn. Oh, lovely. There's likely to be a pile up out of that. And yes, that's good, Sherry. Like Diana said, hers is $10 per session. So you got a steal there. Take advantage of it. Does anybody have any questions? Since I'm supposed to be doing a reading show, of course, we can yak all day if you want to. I don't mind that either. Right out of that east parking lot and onto the bridge. You know it well, I bet. Yep. There's a spirit festival coming up next month that I'm going to go to and get to meet people. Take a shit ton of cards. Hand them out to everybody. Leave them everywhere. And any place that you go regularly, ask them if you can leave some cards in a little rack on their counter. They might let you. If they don't let you, then just litter with them. Yeah, that is fabulous. Okay, we got a question. I know I'm going through another ascension. I like talking with you and Diana. It's like sitting on a master class. Yeah, I guess it kind of is. Should I be searching to get certified in something? You already are certified, Diana. You're certified Wonder Woman, certified astrologer. See, that's the one thing I don't get about being a certified tarot reader. Somebody made that up. There's never been such a thing as certified tarot reader, and anybody can read tarot. But I'll ask your question. Should Diana be searching to get certified in something? Should Diana be searching to get certified in something? Wait a minute, let me get Trump out of here. Okay, Diana, you don't need to get certified in Reiki because Reiki is changing. The Reiki world hasn't really noticed it yet, but I have. I've been a Reiki master teacher for over 30 years now. Oh, nearly 40. And what is changing in it is, at least for me, the symbols are not necessary anymore, and the energy is coming through stronger. It is changing. It's growing. It's getting better, but getting a certification isn't really necessary. Yes, exactly. Tarot, what the hell is that? I've been reading them for over 50 years. And suddenly there's a certification there hasn't been for 50 years. But for something else, maybe. And I certainly would never discourage anybody taking a class. I've actually been looking for a tarot class myself just because everybody has a different way of doing things. And I like to know a lot of ways of doing something. And it keeps you from getting rusty. Okay, so we're going back to the old way of following the thread used. Kind of think so. Okay, should Diana get certified in something? Anything? Well, you got a dark young man. He's worried, but he's going to get his wish. I think you're going to be reading on a dark young man pretty soon. He's worried and he's going to get his wish, or it could be one of your kids. Seems it has to do with work and his marriage. And he's jealous of something. And he's worried about an end. The death card came out. And these cards say pretty much no, you don't need a certification. Just do what you want. Okay. I'm taking a certifying readers class, not to be certified, but to learn more and be more efficient. Yeah, that's fabulous. Yeah, I'm going to be signing up for a class with Val pretty shortly, just because, I like to see what other people do. Oh, it's your brother? Okay to no certification. Yeah, you don't need certification because what we do, we've done all our lives. You already know how to do it. One reason I'm going to be taking a bunch of classes is that my physical situation is slowing me down a lot. And I'd like to know what things are because I do things like channeling and mediumship, and I can do all of the clairs, but I'm not sure which one is which. So how do you do a show on something when you don't know which one is going to come or which one is what? So that's what I'm going to be taking classes for. And it's just to get more knowledge. It's not it's not a thing to you don't need a piece of paper. I've got a whole wall of pieces of paper. I've got 14 certificates. Well, they're degrees, they're diplomas, they're certificates, licensing, all that kind of stuff. I've got 14 of them on my wall. There's 3 under each. They're behind them in the frame. And then I got another box in the closet. What does that get me? Not a whole lot. It hasn't made a whole lot of difference to me. I always thought that healing depends on the healer and the patient. I thought it would be very depending on that. Yeah, it will vary depending on that. It very, very much so. If somebody comes to you for healing and they say, well, I don't really believe in this, ask them if they're willing to try. If they kind of hem and haw, nah, don't bother. Just tell them to go on their way. Me too. Even in fairyology, the Doreen Virtue. Yeah, you wouldn't believe the number of Doreen Virtue decks and books I have. I also have a lot of Mary K. Greer books. She did a lot of books on reading tarot. But it looks good to whoever wants a reading. Yes and no. I don't see anybody looking for certified readers, like there's anything special about it. I think the best certification you can get is experience. And then the way I always advertised my card reading was just reading for somebody, because then they'd send me their friends and their relatives. Back when I was reading in my kitchen, I couldn't read fast enough because I had so many people coming to the door. Save them, they may be worth a fortune 50 years from now. Yep. Yeah, I used to chase certifications, but I don't really do it anymore. I took Whimsy's course in HCRV, heart-centered remote viewing, and I have taken the military remote viewing. I did that when I was with the agency. They also sent me to law school. Got a law degree. I ain't taking the bar exam. I'm not going to be a lawyer. But the knowledge is what helps you. You need the knowledge. That's the problem with what the world is doing, Sherry and Angela. They no longer trust that Grandpa knew his shit and taught you the right way. Yet those 200-year-old houses are still standing. My house, was built in 1897. It's still here. Yep, they knew what they were doing. I'm still so new at all of this, so I want to be better. You want to be better? Keep on reading. The more you read, the better off you are. With your friends and your family, I always read them for free, but to get experience, that's a good way to do it fast. Is to read, knock everybody down, make them sit in your kitchen, put them in a chair, and read their cards. They don't have to believe in it. In fact, that's the funny part. If you take somebody who doesn't believe in reading and you make them sit down and do a reading, the very next week they're coming, you got to read for me again. That happened. How did you know that? That happens all the time. Yep, exactly. You want to fill Sherry in? I don't think she'll know what that is. Yeah, exactly, Sherry. Keep doing it. Grab your neighbors. Get to know your neighbors. Say, come on over. We'll sit down and have some cards. Read some cards. No clue. That's the better it is. The no clue ones are the ones who talk about it the most when you're done. Swell when were kids, as though they were saying nice driveway, but it's Polish for here to you, or you can also say. Yep. But the easiest way to learn cards is just to practice over and over again. I got out of practice during the pandemic because there was nobody to read for here other than me and the kids. And mine won't even sit down for it, so I read the cards anyway. How's by you is what you can also say. Yep. You ask people what their problems are, and then you read their cards, and they know what to do. And that's another thing with this new series I seem to have started by accident. I did a reading on the, of course, with a Polish accent. Yeah, you gotta have an accent. But I did my reading on how I dealt with the Tower card because I had a recent Tower incident. And now everybody wants to know about the Ten of Swords. So I think I've got a little series starting all on its own, started all by itself. If y'all have a card that you want me to read on that gives you particular screaming woogies or whatever you want to call it, if you have a tarot card you want me to do a meaning or a video on to explain how to handle it, I'll be glad to. The Ten of Swords is going to be fun. I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to be doing the Ten of Swords. And then where's that deck? And then I'm going to do a flip through of the totally unofficial Adventure Time tarot cards. That was one of my grandson's favorites when he was a kid. I love to find these kind of decks. So that's what I've got coming up. That's what you'll see tomorrow because Diana has company. Yes, the Ten of Swords I'm going to definitely do. Yeah, Diana, what I do is I look for odd decks and unofficial decks. You can find them on Etsy or eBay. Amazon never has them, but they're just little decks that people make without having the licensing. And they make a batch and they put them out there and sell them until they get a little knock on their door about copyright infringement. But in the meantime, they get a deck out there and they get them published. So that's what I like about it. And my grandkids are funny. They don't read the tarot cards, but what they do is they'll take this deck out and they'll pick out their favorite characters and toss the rest of them. And I don't really care because these decks run about $10 or less. But he'll have a lot of fun and he'll hold the characters that he holds dear. He'll keep those cards. And fingers crossed, he may eventually start reading them. That's how I got my granddaughter to start reading cards. She played this video game, Legend of Zelda. So I got her Legend of Zelda cards. And that's when she started reading. Yeah, they're a nice little deck. They're a comfortable deck, Diana. They're smaller than your average tarot cards. They're just slightly smaller, but enough for if you have small hands, they're easy to read. So they kind of make it fun. Okay. I know I have questions, but I don't know what they are. Does that make sense? Of course it does. Of course it does. Now, what you want to do is just keep on mulling those over because eventually it'll come clear to you what that question is. Oh, that's cool. I need to look for those for my sons. Legend of Zelda Tarot. Yes, that's Etsy or eBay. Either one is where you're going to find them. I would bet on Etsy because that's where I bought them that one time. Me too, Sherry. Tons of them. Yep. I've been trying to write it down when a question pops up in my head on a reading. Well, that's perfect. If you can save those questions and what you got, write down the cards that you got as a response. And then I can go through it. And if you had anything that you weren't really straight on that didn't come through to you or that you didn't understand, I can lay it out and explain it to you. And that's another great way to learn. Because I'll be happy to reread your readings just so it gets it gelled in your mind how it works. Exactly, Diana. But it's pretty easy. I wanted to show you something. No, I don't see it. Oh, I know where it is. I wanted to show you all the playing card decks that I have. But I always end up going back to my deck. Now, these are a little different. Oh, yeah, these are a deck I started and never finished. They're pretty much based on the Lilac Lantern. Where are you? There you are. They're based on Lilac Lantern, and I had more to add, but I never finished them. I guess I should finish the deck. And of course, I did them in the playing card size. I had bought a ton of decks from Temu before I knew they were counterfeit decks, so I used them as my slush decks to carry around. Yeah, they're great pocket decks. They are regular card size, so it's easier to handle. Yeah, that's what's good. But there are so many out there. Sibillas. Then these, which I find totally useless. They're cheap, but they're totally useless. There's another deck. Lenormand is a playing card deck. And I tend to give them away if I run into someone interested. Yeah, I do that too. I give cards away. This is another reading deck of another method. Now, all of these are another method. These are the Gypsy Witch fortune telling cards. This one's old. This deck is from the 40s. Then you have the Gunner cards. They're pretty much like a, what do I want to say? Not like a Lenormand, but I'll come up with the word. It's another type of Sibillas. These are all based on playing cards. But I happen to like my method. Spirit will tell me that deck now belongs to them, so I give it to them, whoever it is. Yeah, I do that. You're already a victim of that. Okay. Yeah, I gave you first deck of cards, the first 2 decks, and now I've given you more sense. Yeah, the Gypsy deck, I like those, and I use them from time to time. Yeah, I do have some great ones. And I have cards, just plain old playing cards that I picked up. I got these are, say, Florida on them on the bottom somewhere. But these I got in Florida when I was traveling. You can read just about any card. There's Harry Potter. These are playing cards. And then I've got a card deck that I lost the box to. But that's another different, just a very odd one. It doesn't gel with me well. They don't sit right with me real well. The meanings don't make sense to me. And you'll find that with some of these decks, that they don't make sense to you, but you got to play around until you find what makes sense. Then these are I think this is the Ana Cortez. Yeah, these are Ana Cortez. That's a playing card deck. Here's the other word I was looking for, Kipper. Those are a playing card deck. And then I've got fortune telling destiny cards. There are, you look it up in Amazon, playing cards decks that you can read, and you will be amazed at how many different systems there are. And then I did find these, and I do like these. They're how can I get it? Conjure cards. They're by Jake Richards. He's also written a book. This is the Appalachian deck. They're based on Appalachian card reading, which is really kind of similar to what I do. But that's a tour through some of my playing card decks. Cigar, I need those. Yeah. Yep. I have all the different decks and kinds of decks. I find them all fascinating. I do too, but the ones that don't resonate with me, Those are the ones I'll give away. Every time I get a new deck, my guy just looks at me and shakes his head. Yep, they do. Oh, wow, Mothman. Oh, shit, I gotta look for those. Those ought to be good. Oh, and I do have Sasquatch cards. Kind of like the voodoo decks I've seen around. Yeah, try them out. They might just hit a nerve that needs to be hit, you know? They might just resonate really with you. And yeah, Mothman. I love Mothman. I watch all of those movies about Mothman. It just fascinates me. So I need to get a Mothman deck. I'm going to have to find them. Yeah, and I do have those. I do have those somewhere. I have a deck that Tabitha gave me. That's yep. There we go. I have the Sasquatch cards, and she got me a Sasquatch magnet too. I love it. They got to stay together though. Then you can do things like the Wizard of Oz cards. These are fun too. And then you have, of course, your regular Lenormand. They make good cards to read, but they're also based on playing cards. So that's the wonderful world of playing card readings. You can't run out of ways to read them or types of readings to do. Yeah, Mothman, that's cool. Miss Tara D keeps telling me to use my niche. Yes, use the hell out of it. Stay there. It's a good place to be. Maybe we need to make our own Mothman deck. We might have to. I'm going to look around though. I'll let you know. I found a deck based on Zelda. The original Legend of Zelda is $500. Is that what it says? Yeah, the ones I got were about $20. But like I said, they were an indie deck, just like this unofficial Adventure Time. So that's how I got them kind of cheap. Oh, Sherry, that's a great idea. Moth are so underrated to begin with. Yep. I've got an echo. Yep. But I think the reason I like my way is it's so nuts and bolts and day to day, and it tells you things that are going to happen as your day goes on. Where a lot of these other decks are more like the reading is similar to the tarot. It's more concept driven, where this is just flat people, day to day, everyday things. I have a Golden Girl deck. I found it when Val, Marina, and Cleo and I started doing bi-monthly show Golden Girls Coffee Clutch. We each took on one of the ladies as our avatar. You're Blanche? Oh, perfect. Yes, you are Blanche. The ones I have in my cart are $50. The old ones are $500 now. Not a surprise at all. Not a surprise at all. Save your Doreen Virtue. Yes, I intend to save my Doreen Virtue. I have a ton of them. And I called dibs on Blanche from the beginning. Of course you did. You are Blanche. And then here I have an echo again. Of course you're Blanche. Love the show. That was funny. They were so realistic about it. The reactions were realistic. They were rational. When anything crazy happened in the show, somebody had the level-headed answer. But another thing about learning this method of reading playing cards, you can do it with any deck you have. It's not stuck to a specific deck. I have a German Lenormand deck that Arthur Easermine gave me when I was in LA. They are out of print, and he bought out the stock and now gives them away. Yeah, no kidding. They are out of print. I've got a deck of those. I've got a lot of out of print decks. And the best place to buy them is eBay. And right now I have in my drawer, as soon as I hit, well, I was thinking 300. I'm getting pretty close to 300 subscribers. When I get to a certain number, I'm thinking 300, I'm going to give away a deck. I have 8 decks because, well, should really tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It makes it a lot harder when you can't read what's printed on the cards. No, that takes your mind out of the reading. That's a help, not a hindrance, because then you have to read intuitively. You have to read the pictures. It's an easier way to read. It absolutely is. Now, if I can remember what topic I was on there for a second. Oh, my eBay story. I bought so many decks off of eBay, and this is where I got the decks that I'm going to be giving away, is that I bought so many decks that they started sending me 2 of each deck. They started sending me 2 when I only ordered 1. And the second deck was supposed to be the next order. It was supposed to go to somebody else. They just got my name and address stuck in their heads, and they keep sending me 2. And I called them and tried to straighten it out, and they said, oh, just forget it. It's going to cost more to fix it than to send them back. They said, just keep them. So that's what I'm giving away, is the ones that I got 2 of. Well, when you're ready, just say the word and we'll make it a party. Oh, of course. We got to make it a party. Yes, I have to agree with that, Sherry. You are so intuitive. You need to let your mind lead you. Yeah. Don't let your mind cloud what you're thinking, because it will. It'll come up with things that, when you've got the English words there in front of you telling you every word, and all you read is the words, guess what? You don't get a really good reading. You get a much better reading if you can keep your intuition in it. If you can keep that third eye going, keep your intuition, trust your gut, you'll do a much better reading. I'm learning. I'm just slow. Aren't we all, though? Well, I'm the kind of person, when I dig into a subject, I've got to know everything. So it just keeps me going. I mean, when I graduated with my accounting degree, I did pre-med. Was 3 credits shy of a computer science degree. I did law, and I did religion. And that was just for my bachelor's degree. I went on from there and finished law. I also did a lot more religion classes. So I just really don't stop learning. You've always got to keep learning. When you get in the habit of learning, you can learn everything. You know, it's like when people ask me, what do I read? And I say, well, everything. I can read plants, animals, sticks, rocks, clouds, charms, bones, runes, anything that you can see a pattern in. Oh, hi, Bora Bora. You got to listen to the replay, Bora Bora. We've had quite the discussion here. Or like Johnny did, reading the gemstones by swirling them around on the table. Yeah, you can read those too. You can read charms. There's really not a limit to what you can read. I kept changing my major until the provost said, you have to graduate. You have too many hours. But I didn't have enough in any one topic, so I got a bachelor's in general studies. There you go. Still worked, didn't it? With the concentration in behavioral sciences, that's really good. If nothing else, it helps you understand life and other people. I understand that you're wrapping it up, Angela. Well, yeah, it's been over an hour, but Bora Bora, if you have a question, I'll read it for you. I kind of came in late because I had to do MRIs this morning. It was supposed to be one MRI and one X-ray, and it turned into 4 of each. So I had to come on late. I took a ton of psych and astrology, psych and sociology classes. How do you like how I changed that into astrology? Maybe that's your next subject. But yeah, I was supposed to be a surgeon, believe it or not, but I never got there. But I learned everything else. And studying everything is how I got a bachelor's in accounting. That led to me working for the government. Okay, Bora Bora, come back next week. Bring a question next time, even if it's on how to read the cards. Astrology makes my head hurt. Well, I can survive astrology by listening to Diana and to Valerie. Other than that, my eyes start to cross. Thank you, Sherry and Angela. Sorry to leave you, Bora Bora, but break time is over. I've something all okay. I'll try to figure that out. But but Diana, remember what I said, moderate your activity. If it just barely starts to slow you down, sit down. Now I work for the state, same thing, just on a smaller scale. Yeah, when I was working for the agency, I did remote viewing, and I used my psychic skills in my job. You'd be surprised what you can do that way. Bye, Diana. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend, Diana. She's got plans. Yep. Well, I think Bora Bora had a point. It's probably time to wrap this up. It's been over an hour, but I think we covered a lot of territory here. So Anybody that sees this later, you really do want to watch the replay. And if you have any questions that you know you're not going to hold on to, put them in the comments below later. If you come up with a question, put it in the comments below later, and that way I can have it for next week and I can read on it then. Yes, I started doing that, letting my intuition lead the way at work. Yeah, it does wonders. I started some new stuff. Yes. You're going to learn new stuff every time. Every time I come on, my mouth starts running and things just fall out that you need to hear. I don't have a whole lot of control over what my mouth does. It just spits out whatever you need to hear. I love y'all, and this has been a great time. And thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. So do the YouTubey things like share, subscribe, and if you have a question, leave it in the comments right below later rather than wait and forget it next weekend, okay? And y'all have a great weekend. I really appreciate you. Oh, you have a birthday this week. Happy birthday. I'll be 63 on 6/3. There, you got to play those numbers. I can relate to that. Yeah. Okay, well, don't forget to put your questions in the comments. That way you won't forget them, and I'll have them ready for you when you get here next week. In the meantime, bye, y'all. Have a great Memorial Day weekend.